Alright, they said I'm live, then I'm live. If they said I'm live, then I'm live. I got a little bit of time. What's up? Good morning, everybody. Yep, I'm in the studio. Came home for a brief bit, and I have to go back out. So, just came here to vibe out with y'all this morning. Good morning to Angie's in the building. Early. I was kind of worried. I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna be that up that early on a Sunday, but I'm gonna put out the information. So hopefully we still have a good show. Let's see, where do I want to start? I think I want to start with, like, a few weeks ago, maybe even months. I haven't been following what Pete Hegseth has been doing like that. I think I tapped out as soon as we started giving. I tapped out with Pete Hegseth as soon as we started giving all this money to Israel, and it just seemed like I didn't know who this guy was. He definitely seemed like he could play either side, Pete Hegseth, right? It didn't matter, right? He could, if you're down to go to war against Israel, he seemed like he was down. If you're down to give Israel a hand job in the bathroom, he seemed like he was down. He just seemed like he was down for whatever. Whereas Dan Bongino, when I used to listen to him, he was different, because I really thought, but here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what I really thought. I really thought he could not be compromised. But he didn't even know at the time that Trump was going to, like, say, yo, let me just pluck Dan Bongino out of a bowl of cherries, and you know what I'm saying? You're going to be my new assistant FBI director. So what Trump did was so genius, because the people that was most critical of him and had the biggest voice, he said, yo, let me put you on my team. And then they caved, just like they usually do in history, right? Just like they usually do in history. City Bama was good. Salute. Uncle Andy was good. We're going to have a good show. A lot of notes for Uncle Andy. But we got books. You understand? Yo, Roderick Thornton left the channel. More than likely he got hurt. I haven't seen Roderick ever since I did the video replying to him. He has not showed back up. He didn't want me to, he was trying to get me to say, where's your evidence for all this extraterrestrial talk of white people coming from the Lyran constellation? If there's no, he was one of those. So I came back the way I came back, and I haven't heard from him since. Can't be giving up on your scholarly efforts, bro. Yo, bro, whether you felt I won or lost, you can't just be giving up on scholarly. You understand? This should not affect the relationship, Roderick Thornton. It's a discourse. It's a healthy discourse. You understand? But I like to show where you can't throw science in front of my face in 2025 and be like, yo, you gotta trust the science. No, I don't. I definitely, that's the last thing. You understand? I would trust a shady character in the worst part of time before I trust the science. Knock it off. So, when it comes to Pete Hegseth, I don't know. The whole administration, I'm really flabbergasted. I'm really disappointed, right? And I know they had so much that they wanted to really do, including RFK. RFK wanted to get in there and get busy. I know he did. I know. And he was compromised. I seen him out here pushing MMR vaccine. I'm like, yo, how you pushing MMR, brother? Yo, me and my daughter was watching I'm Gonna Get You Sucker last night. I'm gonna get you, sucker, you dirty mother. Hey! And we got to the part of the movie where it was that, traditional black store, the pro-black store. He went in there for some backup revolutionaries. He was like, yo, we don't got no revolutionaries. He's like, what happened to all the revolutionaries? It got government and came out with jobs. What? That's how I feel about the Trump administration. The entire administration before they was hired, like Tulsi was going off. Huh? Is it me, or could Tulsi have been like a model too? I don't know. Maybe it's the Hawaiian thing. I don't know. But she used to go off. RFK used to go off. Dan Bongino. Can't believe I used to watch your stupid podcast, bro. You know how many hours I wasted listening to your podcast only for you to get there? You almost did it, though. You was tight. Dan Bongino was talking about quitting and everything. And you should have quit right then and there. And just went back to your podcast and enjoyed your family, right? Because it's already on your resume. They can't take that away from you. Can't take it away, right? It's already on your resume. So you should have just went and they're like, yo, I'm done. I'll go back to my, and guess what? You didn't have to do the whole Alex Jones thing. Because it's not you, right? It's not you. You're not prepared for this life. It's Alex Jones' life. And salute to Alex Jones. He's done some amazing work. Alex Jones has done some amazing work uncovering things that they never wanted us to know. He had a secret, not a secret, but a vintage video with William Cooper. I didn't even know he had. This dude's a legend, Alex Jones. A legend. He did a video with William Cooper. I said, damn. So I want to talk about this Operation Southern Spear. Operation Southern Spear. If you're just tapping in with me, right? The Pentagon's plan to thwart drug traffickers in the Western Hemisphere. And I've been seeing this on the news and I've been paying it no mind because, like I said, I'm just done with this administration. We were supposed to be making America great again, and it just got crazy really fast. Where I don't feel like every time it looks like we're about to make America great again, I get news. And it could be fake news, and it could be news just to agitate me. Or it could be real news of decisions that we're making, right? That I don't see in the benefit of America. Now, you can't take 3 steps forward and 2 back. That's not going to work. 2 steps forward, 3 back. That's not going to work. And that's what we've been doing. We're taking 2 steps forward, then just doing this Sammy Davis shuffle backwards. And it's like, bro, we just made progress going forward. An example of that, right? Two steps forward is you saying, all right, so if you want your Indian H-1B visas people to stay, it's going to be $100,000 an application. That's 2 steps forward. 3 steps back is, we definitely going to need like 600,000 Chinese people to come in here. Yeah, you understand? And we kind of need the H-1B. You're double talking. You're saying that, we don't know where you're at with this. Right? And I'm not really one of those people to, you be like, yo, pick a side. When people say it to me, it's usually out of the wrong context. When they yo, pick a side, I don't like that pick a side when it's not in context, right? But you have to have a stance if you are a politician. You can't be in a gray area and a political. Like you're literally, not figuratively, you're literally a politician. You have to have a stance, bro. And it has to be like, we can't allow this program to run because you have sufficient people, human beings in India that can do the job. And ironically, somehow, our citizens are giving birth to people who are equally sufficient in these areas. So, we gonna prioritize and use the people from this pool first. Priority. All the jobs are going to the people in this country first. Because our people need jobs so they can survive. That's Make America Great Again. That's Make America Great Again. And it's like, I catch you talking to these reporters, bro, and it's like you just got off rolling off a beam. Huh? Like you didn't know you was going to do an interview and just decided to pop a few joints. Then it was like, yo, sir, they're here. Who's here? Remember the interview? Oh, that was today. Shit, let them in, blood, whatever. Feeling good. And you just start talking. So we got Pete Hegseth, allegedly. Allegedly telling everybody to tell the troops, kill everybody in the boat strikes. Now, allegedly, these boats are filled with drugs that are coming into the United States. I was kind of wondering when the United States were going to at least act like they're doing something about. And you know why I was wondering, like, when are you going to act like you're doing something? Because from my lens, from my perception, that Oxycontin pill, fentanyl, it was affecting the white community way harsher than the black community and the Spanish community. Don't get me wrong. Brothers and sisters is definitely getting taken up out of here by this Oxycontin, right? But I was looking at the white community like, this is bad. I've been out to Kensington several times. Sometimes I go out there early in the morning. 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, I'm out there. In Kensington Drive. Kensington. The Deadlands. It's shady business. It is shady business. Let me tell you. I would like to shout out the cops over there, but I usually see one car, and I guarantee you the doors are locked. They look so fucking scared, and I don't even think those are police. It's like some type of auxiliary over there, and they be in a car, like under the train, and it's just one car, and they be shook. Where the mother? It's the Walking Dead over there. It is the Walking Dead. Yo, hand to God, I see a lady walking down the street and she gets to a flat area, hand to God, she's not paying me no mind. I'm there. I'm right in front of her. She just right on the middle of the street, start doing dope, lay out her joint. Said, where am I? Yo, it seemed like I was on stage. Like I was being punked, right? It just seemed like, yo, what is this? This like 3 a.m. It's one of the, you see it on TV, but you gotta walk through. You gotta walk through. It's like a haunted house. You gotta walk through. Fires are burning out of old barrel cans. It's like a movie set. Like, no, this is real life. This is dead ass the apocalypse just in that one part of Philly. Like, yo, this is nuts. And guess what? I'm going to say 95% of these people are white Caucasians. I said, yo, this is a problem. This is a problem. Now, I used to drive Uber. We're going to run out of time. And I was hoping to get, hold on, what time is it? Because I got to get to the Jesuit stuff, right? All right, we're 16 minutes in. I'm going to see if I can find this video. I used to drive Uber. I used to talk to everybody in Uber. Everybody. I talked to pharmaceutical reps in Uber. They were the best tippers, by the way. Shout out to my pharmaceutical reps. Jesus Christ, they didn't care. Yo, take that. Huh? What? Yo, that's why I used to get out early in the morning. I can tell you my secrets now because I'm banned from Uber, right? Uber deaded me. But I used to wake up like 1 in the morning, sometimes 2, 3. It depends. But basically, you want to be in the area around 5 in the morning. I'm giving you the game. If you're on Uber right now, I'm giving you the game. You got to be in the area about 45 minutes to an hour away from the local airport, right? Because you want that long run. And if you live near the airport, then sucker drive 45 minutes away, an hour out, and then turn on your Uber. Bang! Huh? Somebody's going. But here's the thing. If you could try to find out where the drug reps are staying, that's important to know. So I used to know what hotels the drug. See, here's the thing. You say, how do I find that out? All right, where are the drug companies in your area, in your state? They're not going to book their hotel 45 minutes away near the airport. They're not going to do that because these people are here. So what they're going to do is book their hotel near the headquarters, right? Then what you do is you go out there, somewhere around in that vicinity, and just turn that bad boy on 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and wait. Bang! Then they're going to have to go to the airport. And they're going to leave you a nice tip because they're not paying for it. So I used to talk to them. I used to talk to, I told you, H-1B visa people that come over here, right? Because it's not like, I be joking. It's not, humans are humans and citizens are citizens. So America is a bunch of immigrants anyway, right? So if I'm talking about an Indian, I'm just joking and shit. Like, I don't really know. You could have been born in Queens for all I fucking know. You know what I'm saying? But I did talk to a lot of people that was not born from here, the United States. And they told me that they was on the H-1B visa. And they told me how it worked before this whole thing got blown up. And I did see a lot of them that looked like they had money from coming over here. Like, I did see... They did tell me, like, yeah, I got a Tesla. I just don't feel like driving and shit. And I'm like, what? You got a Tesla? What is going on? So, I learned a lot just from talking to people in Uber. Let me try to find this. This is impromptu. This is why I'm not ready, because I wasn't going to even show this video. let me see if I can find it, number one. And if I can find it, I'll play it for you. I seen it the other day, but I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I'm looking at my drive right now. Give me a second. What's this right here? Nope, that's not it. Give me a second. I don't know why that song, Please Pick Up Your Clothes, is like playing in the back of my head. Please pick up your clothes. And I haven't even heard that song in days. Hold on. You would appreciate this video if I could find it. If I can find it. Nope, that's not it. And I might have one more place that it's at. I'm going to look. If it's not there, I'm not going to show the video. Uh-oh. I see a lot of stuff in here. I see a lot of stuff in here, but do I see the video? No, I would have to find it. And I'm not in the mood to, like, really find it. So, basically, it was a video of a young man that I had brought. And I might have showed it, but he was basically telling me, he approached me and my family at the hospital. He was like, yo, can I get a ride back to, he was in like scrubs and stuff, but I was with my family, and he said, can I get a ride back to, and I know where he wanted to go. So I told my family, just hold off, wait in the emergency room, let me give this guy a ride. And when he got in the car, he told me a story I had heard before from a family member. He said, you know, they just took my insurance, bro. When he said that, what he meant was they charged his insurance. Now, I heard astronomical numbers. So one from one family member, I had heard they charged his insurance $3,400. This dude said they charged him $34,000, right? Now, the $3,400 was for one night. That's the thing. The 34, I said, wait. Maybe you got that wrong. You mean $3,400? You really saying they charged you $3,400? And my family member said, yes, they just charged my insurance $3,400 for one night. And he was like, I can't stay here because people are smoking crack in the bathroom. And it's the orderlies who's selling the crack. I'm like, oh, God. So sometimes you'll go through, if you ever drive through suburbia, you'll see these areas where they say, we don't want these treatment houses in our neighborhoods. They don't want the treatment houses in their neighborhood because it's a racket. It's a racket. Now, how does the racket work? Well, treatment is subsidized. This is crazy. And to think, you don't know where this show is going, right? You're like, yo, I thought you was talking about the Jesuits. Hold on. Easy. One thing as a maid you must learn is patience. That's what you must learn. Easy. However, in your anticipation and wanting to get to it already, do not miss all of the finer details along the way. So, just consider everything I'm saying before we get to it. I've had several parents on that were hooked on drugs. It is not a good feeling. It uproots everything and changes everything in your reality. At the time my parents were on drugs, there was no treatment insurance.
I don't know if that's the ring that keeps going off twice or
Probably an alarm. Or maybe an alarm. At the time my parents was on the drugs, there was no insurance, work insurance that will help you. No. You just had Nancy Reagan get up there, look you dead in the eyes through the camera and say, just say no. You guys gotta just say no. And you realize later that these people are horrible people. Horrible. And you consider if they were even human beings in the first place. And I say that because the perception through the rest of the population, and this is why you have to bring race into it, because you're making it seem to these other people who we call white people that we just made up crack somewhere and just started smoking it and messing up our lives. And it's like, yeah, those black people, man, they don't want to live right. Because you keep showing this shit on the news morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock at night, right? These other people, they got jobs, they doing things the traditional way. Yeah, these black people, man. Eesh. Shit is looking grim. Shit is looking bad. You know, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I'm just saying. You gotta agree with me. These guys are fucking animals. Turns out the fucking same people that's telling you to say no to the drug brought the drugs in. Yeah. Stupid ass Nancy Reagan, her dumb ass cowboy acting husband, he had no power. He was a fucking puppet. No way in the world Ronald Reagan was more powerful than the former CIA director who became vice president is more powerful than the CIA director. You a fucking cowboy actor. Huh? Smacking women around in films and all that. You was a puppet. Who the fuck do you know? Domestic or foreign? Nobody. Knock it off. You don't come from old money. Yo, knock it off. You understand? These Bushes, you know, you can't even compare to them. Man, they brought that cocaine into this country and it got on and popping, right? It created jobs for the DEA. It created all type of jobs. They had to hire new officers. They had to hire new correctional officers, right? The justice industry was booming. It was an insult. This shit was highly addictive, obviously. I know people that smoke crack to this day. To this day, people are still smoking crack. God damn, got to be more careful. Shit. That's a run. Point is, they brung it in, they made money, and there was no treatment, right? Now, I had already knew this government didn't give a shit about white people either. I already knew this. But when they started showing the signs of it, I didn't wish it on no demographic. I didn't wish that on my demographic. But I was finally I'm not going to say satisfied. I don't know the word. But it was time for them to reveal themselves. And I said, I knew you didn't give a shit about them either. I knew you didn't give a shit about them either. Right? I knew this shit was a ploy, a game to have us looking at each other, right? Because put yourself in the shoes of if you can. Most people can't. But you got to be able to look through somebody else's lens sometimes and admit, like, nah, that shit looks shady as fuck. You got to be able to admit that. If the shit looks crazy, 6 o'clock in the news, you was carjacking somebody, 6 o'clock in the morning, then I went to work, came back. My wife made food for me. I sit down, and you back on the news, these black people doing some more stupid shit? Oh, God forbid I let you into my community. Hell no. Shit look crazy. I ain't gonna hold you. And yes, if you've ever been in the underworld, you can go to some towns and you can serve a few poor white people here and there with the crack thing. That's in statistics, this is what we call isolated cases. It's not enough data to really, like, it is enough to build up a approximation and a percentage, but it's going to be very small. So my point is, when the drug the drug game flipped, and I seen a lot of white people using these Oxycontins and these fentanyl. I know for a fact, I can't tell you how, so don't ask me, yo, what's your sources? Shut up, you snitch. But I know all the drugs wasn't coming from Mexico or China. I knew this. I just never said shit. That's the most I'm going to say. That's the most I'm going to ever say. I said, nah, some of the drugs is coming right here. I know for a fucking fact. I know for a fact. Some of the drugs is coming right from here. And not like a little bit of the drugs. A lot of the fucking drugs is coming from right here. And we keep telling you, they got the drugs coming over. Alright. But when they did this, when they said, nah, we'll set you up with the treatment. I said, treatment? They said, yeah, addiction is a disease too. I said, since when? Nigga, what? The fuck are you talking about? My whole family was on drugs, nigga. You never said it was a disease. You told them just say no. Then you put some fucking bullshit ass eggs in the pan and you was like, any more questions? And I had thousands of fucking questions. Like, why can't my work insurance cover this shit? No time for your stupid ass questions. Do any real questions. Only for fucking 15 years later, you allow the insurance companies is working to give money for treatment, which is not really treatment, right? We got all this. It's a big fucking game, right? You got people lined up in the ghettos at 7 in the morning. Now, many of you don't live in a ghetto. This is why I'm allowing you to live vicariously through me right now. I got some people who live in the ghetto. Shout out to my people who live in the ghetto. I got some people who made it out the ghetto. Shout out to my people who made it out the ghetto. I had some people that never lived in the ghetto. If you never lived in the ghetto, you never been to the ghetto, don't ever come to the ghetto because you wouldn't understand the ghetto. Stay the fuck out of the ghetto. Now, 7, 6, 5 in the morning, you roll through the ghetto, you see a long ass line. You say, what the fuck is that line? Are they giving out Wait. Are they giving out slow cookers? They're not giving out slow cookers, you jackass. Lock your doors. They're not giving out slow cookers. I assure you this. Just keep going. I don't know how you got on this road, but keep going and get off at the next interstate. You heard me, right? I don't know how you got away. I was looking for a bathroom, Saladin. Yo, stupid. Get the fuck out of here. That's a methadone line. For some strange reason, they're getting people off heroin with methadone. And that's more addictive than the heroin. Hello. So, but this is their program. You understand? This is what they will take money from the infrastructure bill, give it to these places for treatment. And my point is today, it's one big game that we're too busy usually to see. Because if you're busy minding your business and handling the things that you have to do in your life, right? We didn't even get to the fact that your parents may be getting old, your children may be acting up, your significant other is less. There's something fishy going on there, so you're wrapped up in your own shit. Shit at work is not adding up. You feel like everybody's against you. You hate walking in there every time you go in there. You don't really have time to contemplate on these other little details in life, what makes me seem small to you. However, these things affect everybody. Everybody. So then, nowadays, if you have a good job, your insurance will cover treatment. Then what do? It's hey, man, we're here for you, man, and your family, right? Your family's like my family. Listen, your daughter gets on drugs, your son is out there sucking cock in the back of a Walgreens for the next hit. We got you. We'll get him some treatment through our insurance. It's one big circle of a pyramid scheme. It's not shaped like a pyramid, but if you look at the connections of the insurance, of the program facilities that are subsidized by the government, and then of the initial trigger of the drugs being here, it's just one big way for them to make money, while also getting rid of a few people on this planet that don't need to be here in their eyes, not mine. I never said your sons and daughters don't need to be here. They got hooked on something that was deadly addictive, right? By the way, our FDA told us at one point in time that OxyContin was not addictive at all. How do you like those apples? For trusting not only the science but politics, right? So, that being said, we have Pete Hegseth, a news anchor who turned Secretary of Defense because he was in the military. And I don't have time to go run down what he did in the military and all that. I didn't trust Pete Hegseth from Jump Street. I said this. I was very vocal. He showed too much adornishment for Israel. I don't know why, but I do know why. Right? Israel has a lot of money. Why do they have a lot of money? Because the United States gave them a lot of money. Israel, it's not like Israel has some type of minerals or natural composite or something that they grow that the rest of the world needs that they make money off of. They have software companies. So they're learning how to, they have weapon manufacturers. But for the most part, that bag that Israel has is because that's the United States money giving them that. So if we didn't give them any money, they would just be a scrawny little boy. But they walk around and act tough. Now, collectively, Jews have money. So they should be able to operate on their own by now. But yet, they don't. There was an operation that the Navy started. I think it was called Operation Southern Spearhead or something like. Hold on, let me get the exact name. Let me just read this real quick. It says Senator Roger Wicker, Republican from Mississippi, and Jack Reed, Democrat from Rhode Island, issued a statement Saturday vowing to conduct a vigorous oversight on Caribbean strikes after a report surfaced that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the U.S. military to kill everybody aboard on a alleged drug vessel. So, I mean, that sounds like to me that they don't believe that this is a alleged drug vessel. I don't know what they think it is. I don't know. Somebody's dying in these boats. Somebody. Should they die? Or should they have been captured and brought down? I don't, maybe America wants to send a message. Like if we show the video, maybe they're up to exactly what they say they're up to. Stopping drugs from coming in this country. Maybe they are. The committee is aware of recent news reports in the Department of Defense initial response regarding alleged follow-on strikes on suspected narcotics vessels in the South Com area responsibility. Senator's rule. Okay. The committee has directed inquiries to the department and will be conducting vigorous oversight to determine the facts related to the circumstances. Okay. The Washington Post, citing sources familiar with the order, reported Friday that Hegseth gave a spoken directive early in the operation to those overseeing the strikes. Kill everybody. The first mission in September reportedly required 2 strikes after the first failed to kill all on board. Now, Hegseth said this is fake news. And defended Trump administration's maneuvers against drug trafficking. He says, as usual, the fake news is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. I don't know. Let's just stop right there. There's a lot going on in that one sentence that a rational mind, logical mind just wants to take a few minutes to go through, right? Now, it is important when you are going to be rational and logical to not be emotional. And that's incredibly hard for a lot of people because they know how they feel, right? So they just include that in the way they perceive and interpret the knowledge. But you're not being unbiased, you're not being objective, you're being very subjective. So work on that. So let's go. As usual, the fake news is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, derogatory reporting to discredit. that part right there, if I'm taking my emotions out of it, he could be right. There could be agencies that's out here just saying things against him. Portraying what happened at an angle where it makes him look very suspicious. This could actually happen. I have to consider that. That's not where he messed up. Where he messed up was when he says, to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. Now, this is Edward Benet's rhetoric right here. This is Edward Benet's classic rhetoric. Actually, none of us, nobody, not even the news, had anything to say about the soldiers who you call incredible warriors fighting to protect this homeland. None of us had anything to say about the incredible warriors fighting to protect this homeland. They wrote their, whether you want to call them opinions, but the story is about your decision to blow up boats. Now, we can't have it both way. We can't say these are incredible warriors fighting to protect their homeland, and this guy is 2,000 miles away in an office using a drone. I mean, is that what we're doing now? Is that what we're doing? Because I seem to recall a cousin of mine who was in Vietnam, right? And he made it back. No, he's not okay. He was mentally off, but still decided to somehow make it barely through 20 years at Metro North. Hopefully he has gotten his pension and he's good. But growing up, this dude was off the hook. You understand? It's like if you had a problem, this dude was willing to go. He didn't care if he had a government. He didn't care if he had a good job at the Metro North or not. He was ready to put that Rambo knife in you, bro. I'm like, yo, you are unhinged, bro. Right? These are different type of guys. Let you know, nah, I'm about to go get a little Thunderbird and a little, and then I'm going to enjoy my day. I might go get a hooker or something like that. Like, they're letting you know, very transparent what's going on. Yeah. She gave me something. I had to go to the doctor, get that cleared up. I'm good now, though. They gave me some shots. This is who they are. That's that generation. Are you comparing? No disrespect, right? But let's not compare somebody in a fucking cubicle who just came back from the coffee machine taking directives from you in a well-tempered office as the same thing as a warrior out there shooting at the car. Huh? Come on, bro. Let's not do that. Nah, bro. Let's not do that. You already told me y'all using all type of robotics and AI to pull off some of these missions. And that's why I'm saying, I know you're using the AI, and I know you're using the robots, and I know you're using the drones. Why would you compare these type of guys? So that's bullshit right there, Hexef. Right? To discredit our incredible warriors. Bro. Nobody in the military. But I would feel funny if you was calling me a warrior and I wasn't out there worrying shit. Like, what? Worrying, bro. I'm about to go on break. What? As we said from the beginning in every statement, these highly effective strikes are specifically intended to be lethal kinetic strikes. The declared intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. who are poisoning the American people. Can we have it both ways, America? Can the FDA along with the NIH be allowed to poison us? All these 3-letter acronyms, I'm forgetting one. You have the FDA. You have definitely the NIH. Then they gave all the power to the WHO. But there's another one in America I'm forgetting. It'll come to me. So, here's my point. How do we have it both ways? How is the food allowed to be poisoned? How is the water allowed to be poisoned? How is the air allowed to be poisoned? The vegetables. Everything. How is the inoculations allowed to be compromised? And then you go off and say something like, what you're doing is really to protect America. And you really expect people not to find that suspicious, huh? The declared intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. There's plenty of people who poison the American people. He continues. Every trafficker we kill is affiliated with the designated terrorist organization. So you're no different than the who we call the Democrats, who just create boogeymen, right? I think we're tired of you guys creating boogeymen and then focusing yourself. And it's not that the drug dealer is not real, but you gave him this title of narco terrorist, right? Why? Because the traditional terrorist, who was like the gooch off of Different Strokes, who was in fucking invisible, you just told us, yo, if you see something, say something. Have you had everybody on the train like, huh? You even had the shit in measurements where if it's a yellow, you know what I'm saying? If it's mild, it's yellow. It's a little bit more than that, it's orange. But if it's red, you're using the fear frequency to affect everyone's chakras. That's what you're doing. Right? Shit you learn from the 30,000 Nazis that you allowed to come into the United States when you gave them new residency. We'll get into it in a second. What time is it? I got it. Say 53. All right. Let me get busy. Let me speed this up a little bit. My point is this. We can't do both. We can't tear down America and say we're fixing America and expect all of America to buy that shit. No. You can have some retards and some patriotic assholes cheer on that shit, but when you really, that's why I say don't come over here and don't try to speed up my show, because I take my time purposely because I want you to see my point, right? I don't want me to just say it, you missed that point because you was arguing with your old lady or you was reaching for a coffee or some stupid shit and you didn't hear what I said, so it never registered in your head. No, I spent a whole hour on it on purpose, showing you the contrast between our agendas and our visions and our goals. How are they so in contrast with each other? So what's the goal? Are we for Make America Great Again? Are we not? Now, here is the point of my show today. You know why we're so divisive? Maybe. Just maybe. Because I do know of one group. I know of one group who intentionally wants it divisive like that. Who intentionally says, you go over there and do that, and then you go over there and do the opposite. Yet we are all one. Our agenda is to create confusion. And it is with this confusion tactic that we would be able to take things over. Right? But here's the thing. That group over there in Group A doesn't even know that the group over here in Group B, what they're doing. They don't know their mission. All they know is they're all part of the same group. Right? This one has a different agenda. And it seems like it's in contrast with this one. Let's open up a book today. Today we'll open up a book. Still got that song in my head. All right. Let's start right here. Let me read some of these comments. Boom, boom, boom. We got a lot of comments in the house right now. Angie says she loves the show. Appreciate you too, Angie. Original man is in the building. Peace to the gods and earths. Original man said he been to Kensington. And it was like he was in a damn movie. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Let me tell you something. Keep it 1,000 with you. You know how I found Kensington? I was dropping. This is right before OT the Real did OT the Real had not done the video yet with him rapping on Kensington. He had not done it yet. I'm doing Uber. 12 in the morning, right? 1 in the morning. This is my first time there. I'm dropping somebody off. And I say, my exact words, verbatim. Yo, what is this? And the dude just started laughing. Because he knew what I was talking about, right? Dude just started laughing. He said, yo, this is Kensington. I said, what is this? This is crazy. Now, underneath, it looked like Brooklyn, which is crazy. It looks exactly like Brooklyn. Dead ass. But it's not, which is crazy. And it made me always think, yo, who designed this? Because it looks just like Brooklyn, bro. Just that one area. Just that one area looks just like Brooklyn underneath the train. But then you had people over in the corner warming their hands over a barreled fire. I'm like, what? That's stereotypical. No. Here, all your stereotypes are dead ass on point. Word? Huh. Crazy. All right, y'all. Let's get busy. I'm going to read some more of the comments. Hold on. Yep. He says, what is a Jesuit? Well, I didn't make that. Here's the thing. I didn't make that image. So, they spelt it wrong. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time on, hey, spell it right. So, I just left it there. knowing that they spelt it wrong. But I spelt it right in my title. And that's all that really matters. And I see somebody, I think it's Santiago. But, yo, I think that's Santiago. It is Santiago. Santiago, what's up, bro? All right, let's get busy. Now, a lot of you guys be wanting to know, like, yo, where's the resources, the sources, where you getting your information from? And I keep telling you I read books, bro. But hold on one second. Let me go get my book. Hold on. All right, thank you for your patience. Here's the book we're reading today, right? Now, I don't mind showing you a lot of people. The reason a lot of times I don't consider telling you guys where I get my information is because I just want you. It's information. But I will look these things up before. I'll research them before I say anything. But if you judge a book off its cover, right, and you be like, oh, you reading these conspiracy books, then you've already judged the information before you get it. But if I give you the information first, tell you to go look it up, then guess what? You don't really. But today, I will break one of my cardinal rules. And what we're going to do, let's see, here we go. Man, now I wasn't even going to start this far back, so I'm not going to start right here, even though I'm tempted to, right? I am so tempted to, because it just popped up, Jewish means faith, not race, but that's not what I'm talking about today, so it's going to throw my whole show off. So what I probably want to do is I probably want to read a little bit. I'm really supposed to be starting from like page 175. So I'm like 10 pages off almost. But some of this is so right? You just the topics are so alluring and attractive. It's like, nah, I gotta get into this a little bit. So it says right here, this continues to be done because reptilian hybrids like the Rothschilds need the myth of the Jewish race and false Jewish history to hide their true agenda. I'm not going to get into that today. World War III. The creation of Israel was never an end in itself. It has always been a means to an end. All along, the plan has been to target the Islamic world to trigger a global war that would set the world ablaze. I don't think I want to read this, because this is not what my show is about. So let's just go down a little bit. Hand in glove. Now this is where things get a little bit more. And then we get into the reptilian knights. Okay, I guess I'm just going to read. And then we could talk about it. Secrecy is the freedom tyrants dream of. Secrecy is the freedom tyrants dream of. All right, let me just start to read. If I feel like we're going in the wrong direction and it's not what the show is about, I'm going to quickly just back out of this. Let's go. As the bloodlines traveled and expanded their power. So did the secret society network that emerged from the mystery schools of Sumer, Babylon, Egypt, and elsewhere. Its role is to covertly manipulate events to advance the reptilian hybrid agenda and to install the bloodlines or their stooges into the positions of political, economic, and military power. The network is structured like Russian dolls or pyramids within pyramids, smaller ones inside bigger ones, inside even bigger ones. The secret societies are divided into levels or degrees, and each higher degree knows more than the one below. You only progress to a higher level when you are chosen to do so, and the knowledge is strictly compartmentalized and restricted. It is for this reason that most Freemasons know little or nothing about the real goals of the organization of which they are members. The general membership believes that the highest official degrees, like the 33 degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, are truly as high as they can attain. This is not so. The individual secret societies feed bloodlines initiates through the peaks of their own pyramids into the Illuminati degrees. These too are compartmentalized and access to the highest levels in the reptilian hybrid bloodline only. It is here that the real action is knowledge of the game as it is truly played. To what end? There are also reptilian hybrid placed people throughout the lower secret societies, it should be said, but they will have limited understanding compared with those deep in the shadows. Albert Pike, who died in 1891, was among the most preeminent figures in world Freemasonry, and he was the guy who wrote the letter about the 3 world wars. Pike described the structure of secret society compartmentalization in his book Morals and Dogma. Morals and Dogma. So you can go check out that book for the people who want the sources of what's going on. Written for higher degree Masons. He was the sovereign grand commander of the Supreme Council of the 33 degree and Supreme Pontiff of Universal Freemasonry. And he reveals in Morals and Dogma how the lower degrees are purposely misled. He writes here about the blue degrees, the bottom 3 levels of the Freemasonic structure, and the highest level that most Freemasons obtain. The blue degrees are but the outer court of the portico of the temple. Part of the symbols are displayed there is to the initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. It is not intended that he shall understand them, but it is intended that he shall imagine that he understands them. Their true implication is reserved for adepts, the princes of Masonry. Wow. There we have a little diagram. The Orwellian global state is being manipulated into place through the Illuminati secret society network, which ensures that its operatives or stooges are appointed to the position of power and influence. These are not just politicians, but crucially their advisors and administrators and those who control banking, business, military, and media. Their actions are coordinated through the Illuminati web and the centrally, I don't know if that's a word, but he wrote it, centrally dictated decisions of the hidden reptilian elite are implemented across the world by their agents in government and commerce. The compartmentalization means that most secret society members know little or mostly nothing of the reptilian agenda, nor would they support it if they did. They have children too. They would be outraged if they knew how their society or group had been formed or infiltrated with the aim of creating a global fascist nightmare. Are we not in that right now? No matter how you feel about the book, because I could have just read this and not told you who was the author, didn't have to show you the book, none of that, right? But you say you wanted to know. I want to know the resources of some of your stuff. This is not the resources of all I do, right? But I do read books. You understand? And I use my logic and my reasons, and I use the information from other books and other sources to kind of check. I don't need some lazy ass fact checker with a contract from the government to fucking lie and say, "Oh, I fact checked this." Funguli. I don't need you to I could fact check myself. I'm smarter than you. Why would I ask you, you dumbass compromised person, to fact check anything for me? I have a brain. So, a lot of this stuff you may have hard evidence for, but some of it you may have to use your intuition and your reasoning and logic says, does this line up? Or is this just horse crap? Or does the media seem compromised to you? Because it seems compromised to me. Right? Does banking seem compromised? Well, the very fact that they would repeal the Dodd-Frank Act seems compromised to me. Is the military compromised? Well, the fact that we can't get a transparent audit since ever, it seems compromised to me. Huh? So, in fact, when he says they have children too and they would be outraged if they knew how the society or group had been formed or infiltrated with the aim of creating a global fascist nightmare, we are in the middle of a global fascist nightmare right now. Most secret society initiates use the secrecy and exclusivity to plot and scheme to their benefit. It is influencing decisions of the local council or securing a good business deal. When it comes to the big picture, the overwhelming majority are clueless about the forces that ultimately control Freemasonry and other secret societies. Indeed, they are also clueless. They vehemently and genuinely, from their perspective, deny that any such forces exist. Right. And that's most people. Right? Let's disregard the thousands of Indians that are sitting barefoot in Mumbai right now trolling our YouTube comment section, right? We know they have the contracts and they do this. You've been exposed by Elon Musk last week, right? So we have you fucking guys doing that. Then we have the bots doing it. But then you have some genuine people, real life human beings that fall for the Edward Bernays tricks, right? And it's like they bleed red, white, and blue without any questioning at all. This is not nothing to be proud about. You are no longer a human being. You are now a droid. And they're not going to use your unwavering obedience in a good way. It's kind of like when God told Abraham to plunge a knife in his son, Isaac. Abraham in the story was what? He was down to clown all around the town and do that shit. You understand? And for some reason you think that's the same God as fucking Jesus. Who Jesus had a totally different personality. Jesus was running around crying and shit. Oh, Jesus wept. And you're like, why are you crying, Jesus? And you're like, suffer the little children, bro. Fuck, nigga. And meanwhile, the old God was telling you to invade towns and kill all the children and fucking animals and everything. These are two different personalities, but that's not today's show. That will be next week's show. We'll get into that crazy business. My point is, you have blind patriotism, and they're really asking you to kill yourself. and you're taking pride. Huh? I do a show, I always get one. Hey, say, well, you're saying you're not down with Trump anymore? I thought you was down with Trump. What are you talking about, you jackass? Trump said, I'm running for president and I want to make America great again. I said, oh, where are you running for president? You want to make America great again? That sounds good to me. Let me ask you something. Will there be trannies involved in any type of way? No. We getting rid of them motherfuckers. You got my vote, Jack. You got my vote. We need to clean this town up. Then he gets in there. He doesn't make fucking America great again. He actually does everything in the opposite. Not everything. He does some things right. But for the things he does not do right that I see dangerous to the culture of Americans, I'm allowed to voice my opinion. Right? I don't have to blindly say, nah, if Trump said it, then we got... No, you're an asshole. Let's make America great again for everybody. And this shit is not rocket science. We don't need a stereotypical Einstein to get in there. This shit is very simple. It's just that you guys are very greedy. And it's very contradicting, but today in this show, I want to show you why it's very contradicting. If I get to it. I mean, let's keep going. The pyramid structure of secret societies and institutions of state ensure that only a few at the top know what's really going on. The rest serve the pyramids from their isolated compartment with no idea how they are contributing to the imprisonment of themselves and their families, just like Abraham was about to kill Isaac. When I say the top, I don't even mean those who appear to be at the peak of power, like presidents, prime ministers, CEOs, media owners, and those with the most stars on the uniform. Such people are the place men and women of the Illuminati, and they are there to do as they are told. As long as they do so, they will be supported. But when they start to believe they really have power, or their demise suits the agenda, they will be removed by whatever means. These include scandals about corruption. Okay, Diddy, we gave you power. And then, for some reason, you went on BET talking about, we gotta, like some revolutionary, you talking about black love and how you want to grow the black business and the black community. After we invested all this money into tearing the black community down, that's the type of shit you on? Okay, shoe program, nigga. You understand? Pelican Bay, nigga. Do remember the time we used Homeland Resources. God knows how much they got paid for that. I want my money back on that. But they got paid on that. And all they found was baby oil, which was enough to convict him. And he's right now serving 50 months in a prison for baby oil. Shit is crazy. Why? Because you stepped out of line, good sir. You stepped out of line. So they had to create this on you. These include scandals about corruption or their private life, which are covered up until it's time to remove them. Or it could mean undermining their government or business, so they are ejected by the public or shareholders. When you control the media and finance, anything is possible. All right, here we are at the Reptilian Knights. Let's go. Naturally, some secret societies are the most important and powerful than others because some are closer to the top of the pyramid or the spider in the center of the web. The reptilian shadow people among these exclusive groups are the Knights Templar and the Knights of Malta, both tools of Roman Church, the Church of Babylon. The official head of the Knights of Malta is the Pope, and it also has a Protestant version called Knights Hospitalier of St. John of Jerusalem, or the Sovereign Order of St. John of Jerusalem. Its official leader is the British monarch. The Knights Templar became well known after the publication of the book The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail in the 1980s. And then world famous with the successor of the Da Vinci Code, The Holy Blood novel by Dan Brown. Both works are based on the idea that the Jesus bloodline became the Merovingian kings. Merovingian kings. I'm probably butchering that word. I believe they were French, but we're about to find out. The Knights Templar, together with an alleged associated secret society called the Priory of Sion, Priory of Sion, Priory of Sion, and the Roman Catholic group Opus Dei are said to know this secret and have worked to keep it hidden to protect the official story of Christianity. Some of the claims in this book are correct, but swaths of them and the main thrust about Jesus are a diversion. These secret societies and others are keeping a secret about bloodlines, but they are nothing to do with the literal Jesus, because there wasn't one. Jesus is a symbolic of Nimrod, Tammuz, and Babylon. And in that sense, Jesus is symbolic of that bloodline, the reptilian hybrids. I will get into that into another video. Not right now. Another Grail writer, Sir Lawrence Gardner, also promotes the Jesus bloodline story and actually calls it the dragon lineage. Sir Lawrence has been closely associated with the modern version of the Royal Court of the Dragon, which was established and expanded by the pharaohs in Egypt, and has had Vlad Dracul, obviously a descendant from the star system Draco. We'll get into it, another video. Among its number. Given that background, I find it impossible to believe that Sir Lawrence Gardner doesn't know what the Grail bloodline really refers to. These are the secrets held and perpetuated by the Church of Rome, the Jesuits, Knights Templar, Knights of Malta, Opus Dei, the upper echelons of the Freemasons, and the even more exclusive groups. Okay? How much time we got? We got like 20 minutes. Roby's in the house. Original Man says, if they can make you, they can break you. These are the facts. And they taught Diddy, we can break you. He must have felt bad from his participation in destroying the black community through music and propaganda. We deteriorated quite a bit. It's not that we can't come back. We have to get on not just code, but on a certain frequency. The frequency has to be the code. And that frequency, we've already normalized the deviancy of humanity. So now we must spend 15 to 20 years mending back a bone that's already grown in a wrong place, which means we have to break the bone. No one's going to be happy about that, right? We're already taking pride in the most heinous acts one could take on our own people, right? On anybody, but we do it to our own people. And we've normalized this as and justified it, right? We pimp out our women, and then we take pride. Yeah, I'm a pimp, nigga, pimp. And everybody, yeah, that's a real nigga right there. And it's just stupid. It's like, what are you talking about? You're hurting our women and selling them? Yeah, because I'm a pimp. Nigga. And the crowd goes wild again. Yeah, that's my man. Stupid shit. Stupid. Not realizing, you've been behaviorally engineered. They did it. Yaakov did it. God damn. That hurts. Fucking hurts, bro. It's crazy. We'll get to it, Angie. We'll get to it. I see you got questions about Dracula, Dracul, British. We'll get to it. All you need to know, reptilians are here, right? They're all over the place. This is a fact. Right? I'll give you the truth over lies over here. All right, let's go. Let's go. These elite secret societies, which answer to the Church of Rome, involve leading names in global politics, banking, business, military, and media. The Knights Templar were formed in France and were first known as the Soldiers of Christ. They are surrounded in mystery and contradiction, but it is known that they dedicated the order to the Mother of God. All right, who's the Mother of God? Here we go. Queen Semi. I never say this name right. Samaris. There we go. I think that's how you say it. Samaris. Of Babylon. Now, for some reason, I think no, he might be right. Because she has different names. In Assyria, I think she's going by Ishtar. Right? They just changed names from state to state. But so far, he's talking right. Now, before she was Queen Samaris, you're talking about Ninhursag. That's who he's talking about. So if you guys want to, and I don't have enough time to pull up the tablets of Enki and Ninhursag. Write it down and then go and look up the story and read the story. Don't just look it up. Read the story of Enki and Ninhursag. It's going to come to you that the virgin birth, Ninhursag was a mother without giving birth. How is that possible? Because Ninhursag was a genetic scientist who created children with Enki. And I shouldn't say children. They created beings according to the tablets. Well, who is Enki? Well, Enki was part of the original, even before you had anything called the Elohim. The sky god, the father of the sky gods, Anu, from An. He had more than two children, but two of his famous sons are Enlil and Enki. One was the sky god of earth, and one was the god, or should I say, put in charge. Because we're calling them gods, but I think that's where we go wrong, right? We go wrong by calling them gods, by calling them something that we're labeling them instead of just entities that came to this realm of earth, started to do what they do, and the project was broken up, and it was like, all right, you in charge of the skies, and then you in charge of the waters and the ground and below. When you start to read the tablets, you quickly find out that the group decided we're going to kill whoever's down there. All those people that's down there, they're making all this noise, this, that, and that. Just wipe them all out, right? It was already concluded that that's what they was going to do. But there was one in the tablet that said, nah, I don't really like that idea though, bro. And I think I'm going to let somebody know, I'm going to let one of them know, because I made them. So I'm going to let them know what y'all about to do. And that was Enki. And then Lil didn't like that at all. This is the second time that Lil didn't like that. He didn't also like the fact that when he did make the human, there was something. This is in the tablets. He gave him special abilities of reasoning that he just wanted to make him very docile where they just followed orders. But that's not what Inky did. He kind of gave him the ability to decipher from the knowledge, right and wrong, and reasoning and all this other stuff. So as that story is retold in Genesis about a snake in the Garden of Eden, or a serpent, a fallen angel. The fallen angel was supposed to be symbolic to Inky falling from the divine council that decided, like, listen, we're going to just wipe them out. And then it was like, nah. So he's falling. He's like, he's determined that he's going to make up his own, he's going his own path. So he's down on earth and he's telling, in the story of Genesis, he said, yo, eat from the knowledge of good and evil. And then Eve says, nah, they say we're going to die if we eat from that. Right? This is a retelling. This is just another version of the Sumerian tablets of what, but you wasn't allowed to read the Sumerian tablets. You wasn't allowed to even know that history. Guess who did know? All of the other civilizations. The Babylonians knew it. The Assyrians knew it. The Akkadians knew it. The Egyptians knew it. Everyone knew it until it got to a point where Rome said nobody else needs to know this story. Nobody else. We going to retell the story, re-symbolize the story, and we will control. Nobody else needs to know this. And then we lost a lot of that knowledge for thousands of years, hundreds of years. And now, as we have entered into the age of Aquarius, as prophesied, the knowledge comes pouring back out as the zodiac goes back in the other direction. Someone said, but Pisces is the last. So how will we enter? Bro, this has been going on for trillions of years. What are you talking about? So now it hits Pisces and it goes back into the house of Aquarius, where we start to get the knowledge is coming out. And as we formulate the knowledge and put the puzzles back in place, and it's like, oh, y'all been really taking advantage of us down here, right? Yeah, that too. All right, it's 9:33. I might have like 7 minutes, right? So I definitely want to get into all of this, all of it. Oh man, there's so much here I really want to get to. The Templars adopted the symbol of the Red Cross on the white background, the fire or the sun cross. This became the St. George's Cross of England. The symbol had already been in use for hundreds of years in Georgia and the Caucasus Mountains, the land of the Khazars, and its significance to the reptilian hybrid goes back way before the Templars. The flag was used during the Templar-led Crusades and was flown by John and Sebastian Cabot when they discovered North America on behalf of the Templars and the reptilian hybrids. Among other Templar symbols were a flag with white and black squares, the skull and crossbones, and the watchtower. All of these symbols have spanned the centuries with the reptilian hybrids. Black and white squares can be found on the floor of many churches and cathedrals, on the uniforms of many police forces, including those in the UK and the USA. The symbol of the skull and crossbones have been used in Knights Templar rituals for 900 years. It inspired the name and symbol of the elite Skull and Bone Society in the United States that is closely connected to the Bush family. Watchtower is the symbol of the Watchtower Society, the Jehovah's Witnesses. From the start of the official Templar story, where were the blatant untruths, they claim to have been formed to protect pilgrims in the Holy Land. But for the first 9 years, it seems there were only 9 of them. Among their most important sponsors and supporters was Saint Bernard, founder of the Cistercian order, and the French St. Clair family. This became the Scottish St. Clair family after some of them settled in Scotland following the Norman invasion of Britain by William the Conqueror in 1066. Okay. I do want to read all of this. I'm not going to get onto all of this. This is much. But here, I'm back tomorrow. I just got to get to work. All right. I really want to get to this right here as I end. Right. So I got, 8 more minutes? I think we could do this. Let's go. Because this is what the show was supposed to be about. The Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits, with their sun worship logo, operate in the highest echelons of the reptilian hybrid Illuminati, or rather their leaders do. It is the Jesuit leadership that controls the Knights of Malta, Knights of Templar, Knights of Columbus in the USA, and works closely with another secret order of the Roman Church, Opus Dei, which was created by Jesuits. The alleged rivalry between the two is a diversion. The Society of Jesus was the creation of Ignace Loyola, who was born at the castle of Loyola in the Basque province in Spain on Christmas Eve. 1491, he and a group of associates founded the Jesuit order in 1537. It was given papal approval in 1541. From there, it expanded its influence until it reached its present status as one of the most powerful secret societies on earth. Loyola became the first Jesuit superior general, also known as the Father General, and he sent his agents far and wide to set up schools, colleges, and seminaries. Do we know this is true? Well, they do have schools. Georgetown, right? They have other schools. They have a lot of schools. So we know they set up schools and colleges and seminaries. It's interesting that the theological, why do you write it like that? That theological colleges are called seminaries, and their students seminarians. The term comes from the Latin seminarium, or seed bed, Simaris, which was known in similar terms as the mother or seedbed of the gods. See? So the language, as I told you yesterday, is very significant. This thing is so it's so complex, but then it becomes so simple at the same time that it will really send a jolt of electricity through your cognition. Like, wait, what a minute. Wait, you put it right there in the front? Right there in the front. We call this a seminary. And then when you look into the etymology of these words, they all go back to what. Now, we spoke about Samaris, right? But guess what? I told you about Samaris. So maybe he's going to talk about it in his book, but I don't think he told you about it, right? So if someone's reading this book, you don't know that before she was called Samaris, or Samaris Miss, she was called a bunch of names, but she was also called Ninhursag, right? So just for kicks and giggles, let me just go over here and type in Enki and Ninhursag. Enki and Ninhursag. And even the encyclopedia. Look, Google AI will even tell you Enki and Ninhursag is a Sumerian creation detailing the relationship between the water god Enki and the earth goddess Ninhursag. This story recounts how the initial union A romantic connection in the land of Dilmun led to the birth of various other deities. You can read about it, but I'm going to tell you right now, depending where you read about it from, most of it is very biased, and they're going to keep on calling it a myth, right? But my thing is this: if you want to call it a myth, call it a myth. But then you have to also call the Torah a myth. You have to also call the New Testament a myth. You have to call everything a myth. But just don't pick and choose and say this is a myth and this is not. Either way, the author here makes a very compelling statement, and he points out something very significant. We do call our schools seminaries, and we can find the root word of Samaris in there. It is interesting that, well, I already read that. Samaris was known in similar terms as the mother or seedbed of the gods. The word seminary is also used in reference to Jewish and Muslim religious centers of higher education, and by the Mormons too. The Jesuits now have some 25,000 members in 112 countries, and the worldwide structure consists of regions known as assistances, which are themselves made up of provinces. It is usually top-down Russian doll system that allows the leadership to keep the big agenda from lower ranks. The superior general has absolute authority and is again chosen for life until it decides to resign. The Jesuit constitutions were written by Loyola and created a dictatorship that demanded absolute obedience to the Pope and superiors within the order. He said that the Jesuits should be well disciplined like a corpse. Loyola produced a book called Spiritual Exercises in 1548, and it is still at the heart of the Jesuit education. It tells Jesuits to suspend their own judgment. And the 13th rule says it is a virtue to believe only what the Catholic Church tells them, even if it's not true. I have to leave that right there, right? In the Jesuit extreme oath induction or blood oath ceremony recorded in the journals of the 62nd Congress, 3rd session of the USA, the real aims of the Society of Jesus are made crystal clear. Former Jesuit priests, including the late Father Alberto Rivera, have confirmed the blood oath's existence, and it fits the blueprint of reptilian hybrid rituals and oaths. So when I come back tomorrow, we can finish off on this. Let me see if I can Google this real quick, and if anything will come up. Jesuit blood oath. I don't have time. I don't have time. Let me see. Jesus. I definitely don't have time to read this. Let me see something. All right. I do remember this part of the oath. And it says, I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals, as I am directed to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that I will hang, burn, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and the wombs of their women and crush their infants' heads against the walls in order to annihilate forever their execrable race. This actually existed. This actually existed. I would love to say this was some type of fake news. I would love to say this is a conspiracy theory. But as you know, this is truth over lies over here. So I can't say that, sadly. So just the mere fact that the Catholic Church had another, I don't want to call it a department, but they had another area within the Catholic Church, and I gotta go soon because now it's starting to blizzard outside, called the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus. It was like the dark part of the church, right? And this is why they call him the Black Pope, the general, the head of the Society of Jesus. To call him the Black Pope because it's tied to Catholicism, but they're over here doing devious business, right? So what I'm going to do is let's continue this conversation tomorrow, right? Obviously, this type of conversation is not going to be for views because YouTube is not going to push this type of video, right? Why? Well, obviously, they have Jesuits all in the media. There's probably Jesuits running through YouTube as we speak, monitoring this video. But I just wanted you, whoever's watching, to have a better understanding of, as we unravel how the world actually is orchestrating, right? You cannot believe everything they put in front of you for several different reasons. Because it could be simply just to manipulate your decisions and your reactions and your emotions, right? So I appreciate everyone for coming over today. Yeah. And what we're going to do is, I wasn't even supposed to be here. I just came home real quick to eat my wife's food. But now it's blizzarding outside. So let me get out here and get this money on my day 5. You understand? Have a blessed one. And tomorrow I can spend hours up here. I won't even rush y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna double back. We're gonna really get into some things, right? But it is very important to be able to rightfully divide the knowledge that we get. So we don't want to be emotional and run off with conspiracies because that's how they could always attack us, right? And by us, I say the rational, logical thinkers, right? They could, this is conspiracy. You believe conspiracy. No. Let me just stop you right there. Right? If I could look something up and prove in history when these things, if other people have written books about these things, people that you consider to be credible, like Albert Pike, then clearly I'm not spewing conspiracies. Clearly I'm talking about something that is not popular and not championed by anyone. But don't say I'm talking conspiracies. Please don't say that. Right? And that's who we are. That's who we are. So peace out to everybody. Let me get up out of here, all right? Holler at y'all later.